Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. This is Clash of the Titans, the video series here at Guy Boston Sports, where I go through every single big-time college football matchup throughout the entire season, giving you guys deeper insight, deeper analysis, but more importantly, more picks for each of these big-time pivotal college football showdowns. In today's video, guys, we have the game of all games, the best game thus far of the entire college football season, the Big Ten championship game. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. I created the Clash of the Titans video series for games like these. I am so excited to go ahead and break this one down with you guys. And of course, as always, I got some really great picks to go ahead and share with you. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. This is one of 6 Clash of the Titans videos releasing this week on the channel in honor of Conference Championship Week. So make sure to check out all those other videos for all of my picks and hit that subscribe button, because every video we give here on the channel has free picks locked inside of them. Or not locked, actually they're open, free to you guys. So make sure to go ahead and check those out. One last thing before we dive into the picks. I have 4 picks, by the way, to share with you guys in this video. We have a spread pick, a money line pick, a total pick, and a player prop. So 4 picks to hand out in today's video. But I want to know who you guys are rocking with in this Big Ten championship game. So we're doing a little giveaway contest here. Comment down below who you think is going to win the Big Ten championship game, Indiana or Ohio State. And one commenter who picks it correctly will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. With the holidays coming up, that could be huge. So make sure to go ahead and comment down below who you think is going to win this big time showdown between Indiana and Ohio State. With that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and dive into the picks. All right, guys, our first of 4 picks in today's video, we have our spread pick, and I am rocking with the Hoosiers here, plus 5.5, which I'm grabbing for minus 130. Best odds available to me over on FanDuel. Also available on Novig, minus 130. BetMGM, minus 130. Now, the actual point spread for this game is 3.5 points. But right now, at least at the time of recording, you can go ahead and add a couple extra points here and get the Hoosiers at plus 5.5 for minus 130, which to me is totally worth it from a value standpoint. Guys, diving into the numbers of this game, I could spend hours talking about both teams, but the reality is this. These are definitively the 2 best teams in college football this year. Both great offenses, both great defenses. This is the definition of a coin flip game. So when you have a game where no team really has a massive advantage over the other, the best course of action, take the team with the points and go ahead and sleep comfortably. And I think Indiana here at plus 5.5 is the right play. This is going to be a narrowly tight game here. We can go down and dive into the numbers a little bit here. Just look at both defenses first and foremost. This is the number 1 ranked scoring defense in Ohio State against the number 2 ranked scoring defense in Indiana. And if you go through the numbers of both teams, you're going to find a lot of great statistics here in terms of passing yards allowed, rushing yards allowed, yards per play, so on and so forth. Not to mention there's tons of NFL caliber talent on both sides of the ball for both teams. Comparing both offenses for Indiana and Ohio State, both very, very good. Indiana, the 2nd highest scoring offense in college football. Ohio State, 13th. Both teams ranking very well in terms of passing yards and rushing yards per game. Both teams very solid offensive lines. And like I said, so on and so forth. I do think Indiana's numbers do look a little better from an offensive standpoint. You see the top 10 rushing offense. They're 42nd in passing yards. You see Ohio State, their rushing offense outside the top 50 there. Neither team turns the ball over much. Like I said, it's really hard to find any key advantages for either side in this spot. One advantage that is noteworthy here is the fact that Indiana very rarely turns the football over. Ohio State doesn't really force a lot of turnovers. That could be key in this game. On the flip side, Ohio State also doesn't turn the ball over much, but Indiana, unlike Ohio State, Indiana is top 10 in turnovers forced per game. So that could be something to look at here. But like I said, guys, this is going to be a very tight battle, a coin flip type of game. In that circumstance, taking the Hoosiers here with the points, to me, is very wise. Both teams have been great against the spread at these individual lines. Indiana obviously undefeated, so plus 5.5, 100% hit rate. But Ohio State also minus 5.5, 100% hit rate. One thing I'm kind of hanging my hat on here with Indiana, and why I think taking them here with the points is smart, is neither team has really played a tough schedule, so to speak, right? For Ohio State, the 2 key games they've played, Michigan and Texas, with Texas being probably the more impressive win they have. That was all the way back in week 1. Indiana at least has this Oregon win in their pocket, which is a very important game. I think a good comparison point for this Ohio State game. Now, I do think Ohio State is better than Oregon, but Oregon is the best team that to kind of compare in that class to Ohio State. Like Texas, as good as they are, they're not in the same class as Ohio State. Michigan, nowhere near the same class as Ohio State this year, right? But Oregon is a top 5 team. And so Indiana on the road beat them by 10. To me, that's kind of telling that they can hang with the big boys. They beat Iowa on the road, Oregon on the road. They destroyed Illinois 63-10, which was a crazy result at the time. I just think Indiana has proven in the few games this year where they have had tough contests that they can hang around the big boys and win big in those spots. So you give me 5.5 points here. Ohio State has not played a team like Ohio State anywhere near Ohio State this season. Let me try that again. Ohio State hasn't played a team like Indiana. Of course, they haven't played a team like Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't have any game with a team that compares to Indiana. With this defense, with this offense, like I said, Texas is probably the closest thing. And although Texas has looked better recently, you know, it's still Texas. And they haven't been a great team. They're a 3-loss team. I know a lot of you are probably like, man, this guy really didn't give me too much here in terms of a lean here. Like I said, these guys, I think this is going to be a field goal game, truth be told. I think this is going to be a 3-point game. It's going to come down to the final minutes. It's going to be a very tight, contested game. 2 elite defenses, 2 elite offenses. But I do think taking Indiana here with the points is the wise play. At 5.5 points is a lot of points here for Ohio State to cover. Can Ohio State beat Indiana by 6 or more? Perhaps. But I think Indiana's defense and their offense, they're just too good to lose like that in this game. So I like Indiana here with the points, plus 5.5. For my second pick here, guys, I'm taking Indiana money line with a little sprinkle here. Now I'm going to put a full unit on the spread pick of plus 5.5. I'm putting probably half a unit on the money line here, just from a smart betting perspective. You get Indiana, undefeated, number 2 ranked team in the country, second best scoring defense in the nation, top 10 scoring offense in the nation, or second best actually scoring offense in the nation, right? All the numbers we just talked about with Indiana, how good they've been this year. And you're giving me that Indiana team at plus 168 over on Novig. I understand it's against Ohio State, but from a principle perspective, you get a team like Indiana for plus money, it's always a good idea to go ahead and maybe throw a little sprinkle in there because they're so damn good. The fact you're getting them at a plus 168 money line underdog is pretty crazy. Again, not going to put a full unit here because I do think Ohio State, obviously, very good team, could win this game. They're the defending national champions. But I do think Indiana, how good they've been this year, a little sprinkle on the money line here is not a bad play at all on the Hoosiers. All right, guys, my third pick in today's video, I'm targeting the under here in this game, 49.5 points, which I am grabbing for minus 139, best odds available to me personally over on Novig. I mentioned it multiple times already in this video, but these are the 2 best scoring defenses in college football. And although they both have elite offenses, you got to assume in this kind of a spot, the defenses will sort of trump the offenses. I think you're going to see a grittier, lower scoring game. This game feels to me like a 24-21 outcome where it's going to, you know, we're going to be probably a little close to that total of 49.5. But I just don't see this game being a high-scoring affair. It's going to be tight. Neither of these offenses have faced a defense quite as potent as these ones, although both have played, or at least in Indiana. I don't know if Ohio State's played Iowa this year. I know Indiana has. No, Ohio State did not play Iowa this year. So Indiana has played a couple of good defenses, Oregon and Iowa there. But that being said, again, Ohio State's defense is a different class from those teams also. Now, Indiana has been more of an over team this year, 75% hit rate. That being said, that's mainly because in a lot of these games, they are putting up so many points that they almost single-handedly cash the over. 56 points versus Purdue, 55 points versus Maryland, 56 versus UCLA. Like, you look at a lot of these games, they're almost covering the over themselves. So they're not going to score 50-plus points here against Ohio State. And for Ohio State, they've cashed the under of 49.5 in 58% of their games this year. And again, a couple little instances here. Texas, Ohio State was a 14-7 game. Even Michigan and Ohio State 27-9. So, you know, in these tougher contests, Ohio State, they don't really score as many points, but their defense still does the trick. And you can honestly say the same for Indiana here. You look at the Oregon game. Now, that actually was a little higher scoring. It just cashed the over by 1 point. But Iowa, Indiana, 20-15. So, you know, a couple of those contests this year where they played other elite teams were on the lower scoring side. They were right around this line again. That Indiana-Oregon game was very close to the under. A little juiced here again at minus 139, but I still think it's worth a shot here taking the under. We also have the insights provided by Outlier. The under has hit in 5 of the Hoosiers' last 6 games versus top 25 scoring defenses, an 83% hit rate. So really good numbers there. You see there the Oregon game, which the actual total was 51.5 points in that spot. Now it's showing 47.5. I'm not sure why that's not the line we have it at. But Notre Dame last year, Oregon, Iowa, Ohio State last year. The over was the only time that it hit. Michigan last year. And that's, by the way, that's a kind of a revenge spot for Indiana as well. That Ohio State loss last year really put a kind of blemish on their season and kind of exposed them a little bit. They were still a very good team last year, obviously, but that Ohio State loss was a stain on the resume for sure. So a measure of revenge here as well for the Hoosiers. But yeah, I think the under is a very good play in this game. Now, very quickly, guys, we have one pick left in today's video. That is our player prop pick. Before that, I want to talk to you guys about the sponsor of today's video, Novig. Guys, if you have not dabbled into peer-to-peer exchanges, you are absolutely missing out. Using Novig allows you to get unbeatable prices and lines on just about every game. Why, you may ask? Because it's other users who are setting the lines. They're setting the odds. You're competing with the other users, not the big-time books. Sign up for Novig today using our special promo link down below in the description, as well as in the pinned comment. Bet $5 and get $50 in bonus bets today. As you can see from this video alone, a lot of the best lines available for these games comes from Novig. So check it out. You can use those $50 in bonus bets to bet, whether it be Indiana money line perhaps, whether it be the spread, any of the picks we've given out in this video. When you use this special offer from Novig, you're going to get $50 in bonus bets to go ahead and put on these picks. So make sure to go ahead and utilize this offer one more time. Link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Sign up with our promo link, bet $5 and get $50 in bonus bets today. Special thank you to Novig for sponsoring today's video and a lot of our videos here on the channel, and also providing the best lines on a lot of these plays. We really do appreciate it. All right, guys, our fourth and final pick, we have a player prop. And player props were a bit tricky in this game because we really have no clue what's going to happen. If it's going to be a lower scoring game, a lot of these players on both sides have cashed their overs consistently this year because they've gone off against weaker competition. I think an under bet is the play, and I chose this one. We have Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver for Indiana, under 54.5 receiving yards, which I'm grabbing for -114. Best odds available to me over on FanDuel. Now, he's had a pretty solid year, but he's actually cashed this under in 50% of his games this season. He's averaging 67 receiving yards per game this year, which is admittedly pretty good. But if you look at the last 5 games, you kind of narrow it down. 3 of his last 5 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 44.6 receiving yards per game over his last 5 games. The last time these two teams played last year, he had 0 receiving yards against Ohio State, but I'm trying to see how many targets he had. He had just 2 targets in that game, so obviously way more heavily featured in the Indiana offense this year. But again, it's really a matchup spot here against Ohio State. This team, as you can see, the #1 defense, only giving up 121 passing yards per game to opposing teams. You go down below here, pass receiver performances, and you see a lot of low lines. The highest one you can see here is Rico Flores from UCLA, had 59 yards against Ohio State back on November 15th. But you see a lot of green there to the under. And that's it. Since November 1st, the best wide receiver performance against this Ohio State defense was Rico Flores, 59 yards. So obviously, wide receivers have had rough times when they play this Ohio State defense. So under 54.5 to me, a good line again that he's cashed it in 50% of his games this year. 3 of his last 5. We also have this insight provided by Outlier. Omar Cooper Jr. has failed to exceed 54.5 receiving yards in 4 of his last 5 games versus top 25 defenses for receiving yards allowed, averaging 34.6 receiving yards per game. So you see Penn State, only 32 yards. Oregon, he did cash the line narrowly with 58 yards. Iowa, only 31 yards. Old Dominion, which is a top 25 defense, he had 52 yards. And last year, again, Ohio State, he had 0. But again, that game, only 2 targets in that one. But I think this is a pretty good spot. Again, an under probably was the safer side in this one. So I like this Omar Cooper Jr. player prop as the final pick in today's video. So guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much as always for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Again, make sure to check out all of those videos out on the channel for Clash of the Titans. We have so many great picks, so much great college football content this week, and plenty more to come throughout the rest of bowl season, playoff season, so on and so forth. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, guys, I hope you're all winners. Let's go ahead and make some money.